Don Mazzella here again for Small Business Digest, and we have a really great guest with us, Tom Kaczmarek. You know, everybody is worried about the retail world. Everybody's worried about the what's going to happen, the pandemic, etc. Well, Tom's here to talk a little bit about it, but first, Tom, welcome to the program.
Yeah, thank you, Don. I'm happy to be here.
Well, Tom, as we ask all our guests, tell us a little bit about yourself, and then a little bit about your company, and finally a website.
Yes, my pleasure. So my name is Tom Kaczmarek, Director of Customer Engagement for Redpoint Global. And I have been in the technology database marketing field for a long time. Started with a technical background, and then throughout my career evolved into strategy consulting. And before I came to Redpoint, I worked for a digital marketing agency. My focus at Redpoint is to help retailers, financial companies, technology companies, healthcare focus on customer engagement and putting the platforms in place to help them do that. I've been with Redpoint for 6 years, and my office is located in Weston, Connecticut. Redpoint Global's been in business since 2006. That's www.redpointglobal, all one word.com. And we're located outside of Boston in Wellesley, Massachusetts. Privately held company. The three founders of the company are still running the company today. Their background is from Accenture, helping organizations navigate through technology and, again, creating a perfect customer experience for their clients. So again, thank you for having me here today. I think as it relates to retail and some of the challenges that retailers are facing today, I can only talk about the National Retail Federation conference that I just attended. Some of the themes there, that was last weekend, Monday and Tuesday as well. The themes there are really centered around three challenges: inflation, supply chain, and safety. And as we know, the pandemic has been a challenge for all of us in all regards of life and business. And what Redpoint Global is doing is, again, focused on these challenges. So if you take inflation, that means increase in prices. We're seeing it all over, right? Grocery store, I can't believe the bill, I had the other day from the normal stuff I buy. So it's affecting our purchasing and the ability to comfortably buy things that we're used to buying. So what is Redpoint Global doing to help retailers with that? If retailers understand their customers better and understand which customers are insulated from price increases and which customers are actually affected very dramatically by price increases, that can help with promotions, offers, discounts, and how to interact with customers. That's number one. Number two, building that relationship is that much more important if there's price pressures, right? So I may not be able to afford a certain product. Give me some other products, or give me some promotions that'll help me get through that. That's number one. Number two is supply chain. Well, supply chain is going to affect which products are available and which products are not available. And so that's another thing that a platform and a database and keeping a single view of that customer can enable. Because sure, the one product that I want to buy, it may not be available today, but what about alternatives? And what have I bought in the past? So we have one of our clients is a apparel company, a well-known apparel company, and if the orange polo shirt is not available, well, what other opportunities are you going to present to me, either through email or on my landing page on the website or through a text, that will give me some other options, right? Instead of saying, we're out of this product, it's back ordered, you're done. So that's number 2 on supply chain. Number 3 is safety. And with COVID, there were 8,000 attendees at the NRF, and there's usually 30 to 40,000. A lot of people did not go to New York City to go to that conference because of safety issues. Well, that means being able to do it, to interact with customers in a contactless environment. So we're working with a rental car company who is implementing all of the operational aspects of having a person be able to rent a car without contacting another person during that process. So that means operationally they have to be set up to do that, but also from a customer engagement standpoint, they have to understand that they are now communicating with that customer digitally through their phone, through a call center, and that all that information has to be coordinated, because if it's not, it'll be very clunky and very disappointing to the consumer. So bringing all those touch points together is critical to enable a more perfect customer experience. So those 3 things is what we see as very front and center for retailers today.
Well, Tom, our audience is small business.
Yep.
Okay. And the small business, part of their advantage is the fact that they have the personal touch, that
Yep.
they have the, and when you put this electronic barrier between the customer and the small business, and to some extent it is a barrier. I know people hate to admit that, but there is. How do you or other people overcome that in the digital world, do you think?
Well, I'm not elaborate a little bit on what you mean by a barrier, because even small businesses have a loyalty program set up. You're able to, I could order Japanese food at my local restaurant that's been there for 25 years and have the order waiting for me when I get there. I mean, those are all kinds of things that every small business is facing today. People want convenience. They want contactless environment. And again, that I ordered sushi from my restaurant, the Japanese restaurant in Westport, Connecticut, and I pulled up and they put it in a trunk. So, at the height of the pandemic. So even though the small business is relying on that customer relationships are changing, and they're changing rapidly, and small businesses need to be able to evolve and pivot to that. No question.
Well, but in listening to your explanation, which by the way was very good, of that, how can a small business take advantage of some of these programs for big business?
Yeah, so I think again it's the same concepts. So how are you tracking your customers? What do you know about them? Are you tracking the interaction with them and keeping track of how they like to interact with your business? So there may be people who absolutely do not like to place an order through their phone. And so that means during a pandemic, make it safe and comfortable for them to actually enter the business and interact with your people. There's other people that are going to want to, again, be contactless. So I think having the systems, having the operations, and being able to have that in a single point of control, a platform that keeps track of all that, because small businesses, there's a big turnover of employees. You can't rely on the employee to keep track of what this customer has done with us in the past. You need a system. You need a platform that tracks all of that.
So, and you just hit the nail on the head. So what you're saying, in effect, that if you pull a system like yours, you can track it, and it becomes uh, self-fulfilling and doesn't require a continuity of a worker. Am I hearing you right?
You're hearing me exactly correctly. Yes. And I think with small businesses, loyalty is a big thing, right? Because you've got another competitor down the street, and you've got promotions and proximity, travel time, all of those things, right? So it becomes more and more important probably more important for small businesses to compete at that level because of the challenges, right? Of competitors, of proximity to the customer, because of the challenges as it relates to safety and COVID. So yes, it's even more important, Don, that customers look at these types of platforms, small businesses.
Your company and website again?
www.redpoint, REDPOINT global.com, redpointglobal.com.
Well, I'm a small business. I come to you. What are some of the questions I should be asking you, and what are some of the questions you should be asking me?
Yeah, great question. Well, I think the questions we face from our clients, it's always going to be, how much does it cost? What value does this give me? How fast can we get this up and running? What resources will I need from my company to put something like this in place, right? And what is the value that will come out of it? Those are typically the questions we get. And then questions for me is that I provide our clients is what, pretty much in the same category, which is, what kind of gaps do you have today? What challenges do you have keeping up with customers and what they're buying and what they want and what their behavior is? Describe some of those gaps. Where are the challenges? Are you good at customer service, but you're not good at marketing? Are you good at acquisition, but you're not good at keeping your customers? What are the good things about the way you're set up, and then where are the gaps? That's what we focus on when we talk to our customers.
Well, you brought up an interesting issue. Let's talk about keeping your customers. How can a system like yours help a small business keep customers?
Yeah, so it's all about first-party data, right? So a lot of companies may go out and look at purchasing data, acquisition list and so forth, but it's really important that they understand their first-party data. So when did I buy? What did I buy? What was my interaction with the company? Who interacted with me? What opportunities do I have to upsell and cross-sell that person, right? So, for instance, that restaurant that I mentioned, would it be interesting for them to, if I've placed orders through my phone and if I've registered on my phone, wouldn't it be interesting for them to try to find out if I'm interested in having birthday parties? They have a hibachi section where they have a lot of parties and a lot of birthday parties. Well, maybe they want to find out, when is my birthday? Maybe they want to find out, what do I have children? Start to interact with me. Send me some surveys, possibly, to learn more about me that's relevant to the business, not intrusive in terms of privacy, but have a little bit of set up a loyalty program, and then start to build a relationship with me, because the important thing here is the operation has to be scalable. You can talk to everybody, sure, but at a certain point, it has to be centered in a platform in order for you to scale and grow, because you can't keep everything in your head. You can't write it down. Things happen too fast. So having that platform and engaging customers based on building that relationship and scaling it is critical.
Well, let me. Something interesting happened to me. We and I think applies to this. We have a car in the garage. It's my wife's car. It's over 25 years old, but it only has 60,000 miles on it. It's a Volvo.
Wow.
Yes, it's a
Nice.
wonderful car. Well, we put insurance on it just for being in the garage, but it turns out that at the end of 6 months, it goes up to full price again because we didn't tell them to continue. So I called the agency, and the agency said, "Well, we can't keep track of these things." It,
Yeah.
so, and the only way I found out is I looked at my thing, and all of a sudden it tripled. The monthly tripled. So,
Right.
is this the type of thing a system like yours would do?
Yeah, absolutely. There's all kinds of triggers in the system. There's all kinds of flags that are available. And again, this is a system that is easy to use. It can apply to our system handles integrating all that data, because one of the things that happens there with that type of information, maybe that information isn't captured correctly. Maybe that information is difficult to combine with other information, right? Our platform allows you to integrate any kind of data from any source, eliminate duplicate information, and establish a single view of the customer. We call it a golden record.
Mm.
Without a golden record, everything that spins off of that, all of the marketing operations, all of the emails, texts, phone calls, it gets disjointed, right? Because the email system may have one view of me that doesn't include my transactions, my history, my customer service complaints, my interaction, what have I bought, when have I bought it, how often do I buy, am I a big spender, all of those things. If you're sending out blast of email without really segmenting it into certain types of customers, and getting some value out of that blast, you might as well not do the blast, right? Mm-hmm. If you're sending an email out to everybody and it's just one message, there's going to be a big percentage of those people that could care less about it, because you haven't done your homework to understand what's interesting to me. And if the platform doesn't enable you to do that, you can't do it. Yeah.
Tom, you mentioned something about the golden rule.
Golden
What do you
record.
mean by that?
So the golden record is the single point of truth. So it is everything that a business knows about a customer, right? You need that because, again, if you have various platforms, there are many ways that customer interaction comes into a system, and there are many ways customer information is used by the business, right? So you've got all this input of information, and then you've got the ability to use it. Well, that means there could be 7 or 8 different ways that information comes in. Are you joining it together correctly? Or is Tom Kaczmarek in there 7 times, and you've got 7 different interactions with Tom Kaczmarek that are not coming together, right? That's where the golden record comes in. Then on the output, Are you just looking at my interaction with email as you send me another email? That's not right. I could have a whole history with the company that you're not looking at. So the golden record will apply there. Now, the most important thing out of all of this is all of that interaction on the back end comes back in as well. Did I reply to the email? Did I buy something? Did I click through? Did I abandon my cart? Was I interested in looking at things on the website and then I left? All of those things need to come together in the golden record.
That's really fascinating. That's fascinating. I never had someone explain it so clearly.
Thank you. I try to keep things simple, especially when they're complicated.
Well, that sounds very complicated, but it sounds like it's a wonderful tool. If I can look at a screen or screens and figure out down to what the individual customer does.
Yes, sir. And then also you'll be able to keep track of the interactions. When an email was sent, when they visited the website. And then there's key metrics, right? There's always key metrics. What's my lifetime value? How much have I spent with the company? Do I only, so I'm a fisherman, right? Am I a fly fisherman, or am I a saltwater fisherman, or am I a lake fisherman? All of those characteristics, a company like Orvis, for instance, would want to know that stuff, right? And keep track of it. Same with small businesses. I go to a lot of local tackle shops, right? That are not big companies. And same thing applies there. Did I walk in and buy a jacket? Have I only bought clothing? If I've only bought clothing, well, maybe you want to find out if I do fish and send me a promotion for a fishing rod, right? There's all those cross-selling opportunities that develop over time that will be initiated by the golden record.
Okay. Tom, we just have a couple of minutes left. What would you like to leave the audience with?
Well, I think this is exciting. This is an exciting time for retailers and small businesses. I think because of the challenges we face, I think it's more important for companies to invest in these types of platforms. It has accelerated that whole opportunity for small businesses and retailers because of the challenges, right? You're either going to sink or swim. And I see a great evolution happening. I see great aspirations, great opportunities for retailers and small businesses as a result of all of this getting accelerated.
Well, on that note, Tom, your website again for our audience?
www.redpointglobal.com.
Okay. Tom Kaczmarek, thank you so much for a great time together.
Thank you, Don. A pleasure to meet you, and have a great rest of your week.